Welcome back to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is August 10th, 2020. This is episode 63. And today we're going to look at the Gosh Darned, The Virgin Brides, Issue 2. Now, I almost didn't do a review on this book. It really bothered me. It was very bothersome. I looked up a couple of reviews. They didn't have anything on the issue 2. They did have it on issue 1. And apparently there was an arc before this one just called The Gosh Darned. And it was about the story of Cain and his 1600 years after he had been expelled from Eden. Now, reading this book right off, written by Jason Aaron, who's been in the business pretty much since the 2000 or so. He's written for a number of Marvel titles, and basically on this one, this was a really disturbing book for me. I reading it, I thought, okay, the guy that's reading it's got to be an atheist, and he's got some deep set views about Christianity, but I'm sure Muslims are okay. But for whatever reason, I looked it up, and sure enough, it was right there. He was once he's brought up Southern Baptist, and he's an atheist now. But he says he's more interested in faith and religion and more in tune with it now than he was when he was a Southern Baptist. Well, I can't really. Boy, I don't know. I don't know. There's nothing about this that I liked. I just really struggled with it. I mean, even the lettering, that is really small lettering. I mean, I needed a magnifying glass basically to read it. And my eyes are bad though. I'm like a 20/30 vision in both eyes right now. And the main character in this is a girl that's just about to turn or go through her change of life. And she's not very attractively drawn. This is her friend here, who is very attractive in comparison. And this one's a little rebel, a hellion. There's a lot of child abuse in this, but there's a lot of violence. Men, for the most part, are either I'm assuming maybe they have some role later on in this series. Maybe they're the High Lords or the Patriarch of some kind, but this is pretty woke in my opinion. It's probably 9 on the 10 scale of being woke. It's just really mean-spirited, and there's a lot of profanity in it. To me, profanity is lazy writing, and when you lace the thing with just nothing but profanity, it just kind of to me it's like you can't develop the character. They can't come out with, there's no depth building with it. There's just, you don't get to know the character at all you see is F-bombs, and there's plenty of F-bombs in here too. Like I said, there's murder, there's child abuse, pretty much seems to be kidnapping. You know, I'm not a super religious person myself. I was brought up Catholic. But this just, I cannot recommend this. This is a total not recommend. I did look up a couple of the reviews of the first issue. This is the second issue. And basically, they both kind of were wavering on it. They said, yeah, we're going to keep reading it. And it was kind of based on the original arc that was just the Gosh Darn, the story of Cain, which looks to be more like a Mad Max type dystopia, even though it's supposed to be the era before Christ. So in this one, it's some kind of religious zealots, and they run a nunnery, and they call them the mothers instead of nuns. And the small girls are raised and then sent up to the mountain to be brides to some unseen force or person. And I guess this one in the first issue kind of sneaks up and sees what's going on. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't read the first issue. And this is not probably the best jumping on point, but I just thought, the lettering is way too small. I can't read it. The coloring, it was like the palette they were using was vomit and diarrhea. Honestly, and the drawing is okay, I guess, and just the storyline so far. I think there's probably a really good, impelling story here, but like someone else said, it was maybe a little bit too handmaidens type story. But it's just, to me, it was just lost with all the abuse and and men in here. There's no men. There is menstruation, but there's no men really. The men that do show up are basically murdered by women warriors, and the men aren't even fighting back. They're running, and then they get cornered, and basically they get their heads bashed in. So if you're into that kind of thing, yeah, you might like this. I just cannot recommend it. I am out on this one for sure. But I mean, I was so disturbed the first time I read this. I was thinking, man, this author must. I was thinking if he's an atheist, I think an atheist reading this would be disturbed. Honestly, I don't know if anybody's going to see this this review or not, but I was thinking that the author needed to get some psychiatric help, or this is like bordering on that comic books Crossed, if you're familiar with that one, with the the ultra-violent zombies that are just pretty hedonistic in their pursuits as well. This is just something that, like I said, I cannot recommend. There's so many other comics out there that you should be reading besides this. I just read Vampire, The Masquerade, Winter's Teeth, and that was like an excellent book and great character development, and it had some violence in it and maybe some language, but I did notice it. This is just awful, my opinion, and it's just my opinion. Your mileage may vary, as Comic Tropes guy says, but for me, I'm out, and I don't even know if my videos going this long. It seems like on the books that I can't recommend, my videos go kind of short. And just want, if you liked what I have to say here, please please subscribe if you haven't. I don't know if anybody's looking up this book. Like I said, there was very few reviews on this series and the series, the arc before, which was Cain's life once he had left Eden, which I have not read either. So I'm kind of piecing things together from what I've seen. The writer himself, he can write. I mean, there's no doubt about that, and that's why I'm kind of disappointed that this is the direction he's taking on this. So anyway, I hope I didn't bum you out. I'm kind of bummed out doing this one, but yeah, it was kind of a shocker to me. I was surprised, and I feel like I've read a lot of different kinds of comics, and this just kind of blew my mind that this is out. It is an Image comic. I haven't really liked anything from Image lately. I think we reviewed Dead Body Road, Bad Blood, and I'm out of that one. I think I did the first 2 issues on that, and Lost Soldiers, and now this one. And Lost Soldiers, I'm out on that. I'm not continuing. So anyway, just wanted to let you know. If you're thinking about this, I not recommend it. If you like my recommendations before, then maybe this will steer you in that direction. Otherwise, if you like really weird, really edgy stuff, then this might be the book for you. So please subscribe, please like, please leave comments. Like I said, I think the other people are nervous about giving it a thumbs down because the writing is decent. I mean, it's good, and it's from a good writer. He's been Eisner nominated, but for me, I think this book is a tragic direction. So this is Indie Comics Jones from the Temple of Tomes. Thanks for stopping by. Good night.